So in this quick video, what I'm going to show you is how to create a Triggerbox event to activate your animations or sound triggers in VR. So the first thing we need to know is that our VR pawn doesn't have a body. Like if you look at your pawn, you have the camera that follows your headset and you have the hands. So there's nothing to hit a trigger. And so what we have to do is that we have to create a capsule collision. And what that capsule collision is going to do is that it's going to take place for our body. It's going to be like our body. And it doesn't have to be as large as you would think. Important thing is that it has to be under the camera as a child. So it follows the camera around. And I like to place it in such a way that if this is where my eyes are, I only care about having a little bit of collision around my head and maybe a little bit of my torso. So I don't make it so large. I actually just leave it like this. I hit compile and save. And this is the first step, making sure I have my capsule collision. One that's set up, I can start adding my triggers of my scene, my trigger boxes. And to do that, I can just come in here and say trigger box. And I add this trigger box of my scene. I can change its size using the box extend. I could also change the shape. For now, I'm just going to use a box. And what's happening right now is if this is my player start, which is my box, as soon as my character enters this area, something gets triggered, isn't it? Or what this is what it would allow me to do. The third step is I have my trigger box. I have my object that has a body that can collide with the trigger box. I need to create a blueprint that connects these two things. The easiest blueprint to do this is my level blueprint. This is not precisely best practice, but this is a very quick way of if you're doing something very simple in VR, a project of the scale we do in the class, this is good enough for you. And so what I want to do, and the reason why the level blueprint is the easiest, is because the level blueprint knows everything that is on the scene. If I make a blueprint in this object only knows what is in it, and I will have to reference other things on the scene. But the level blueprint knows everything that is standing here. So I can just grab this object, for example, or let's add the trigger box. And with it selected, I can right click on my event graph and say, create reference to trigger box. And that's it. I can select this, and I can also say create reference to player start because it knows it exists. If the other hand, I went to this other VR pawn, which is in here, and I want to select this, and I go back to my event graph, and I try to find a reference, I cannot. I will have to bring it through my, sorry, my variables, and that adds some complexity. So that's why I want to do this in my level blueprint. Sorry, I had to take a pause. Because of my throat. It's really delicate right now. But anyway, I have my objects in here. And even though I can add a reference for this object, what I want to do is that I want to add a event. So I can say selected, add event for trigger box. I can say collision. And I can say an actor begin overlap. And what this is doing is that whenever something overlaps this, I don't even need to know who, because in this case it makes no difference. I want you to do something. I want you to play the animation of this character. And so there's a couple ways that I could do that. I can go from here to here and find like play animation, and it would take me a while, but there's an easier method. And it's like select my destiny and work from there. So same thing, I'm gonna select my character, right click, create reference, and I know that this character is where I want to play on my animation. So I am dragging from it, saying play animation, and automatically creates all this. I don't have to figure out all these things. And I just have to make it that once there's an overlap, it plays an animation. What animation I wanted to play? Well, in this case, I'm gonna play salsa dancing, or maybe it's capoeira. Let's see. I think it's, oops, capoeira animation. And so now I can make it loop too if I want. If I compile and save. An important thing, I want to make sure that this capoeira animation is not looping or playing at the beginning. If I hit compile and save, and I try on my VR headset, let's see if I can try here